Seeing as it's my birthday tomorrow, I thought it was perfect timing to review Happy Birthday to Me. And I'm going to say right now, I blatantly ripped off... Well, I guess I don't know about ripped off. Other reviewers have probably watched this movie on their birthday too. But I ripped off Sinister Cinema Reviews because he's a YouTuber I really enjoy. The horror channel you should really check out. And I saw he did this on his birthday, and I was like, that's a cool idea. So I did it too. Now, this is one of those 80s slashers where, honestly, the first time I watched it, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was very solid. Like, I enjoyed it a lot, but I thought that it was too long, I guess, for a slasher, and that's weird to say because I usually don't mind pacing of slashers. The majority of the ones I see. But the first time I watched this, I didn't care as much for how long it was, and that sounds dumb, but it's a little bit longer than a typical slasher. Like, it's hour 45, hour 40. Not that much of a difference, but I don't know, I felt the difference. For some reason, I was stupid the first time I watched this, I think. Or, I had something up with me, I think, because watching this again, this is, like I said, I liked it the first time, but this time it's really clicked with me. This is a really cool, really underrated, and really surprising 80s slasher in terms of the plot and in terms of how much plot and character development this has, because usually slashers, especially in the 80s, they have a plot to them, but they all usually have like a bare bones-ish type of plot with some little differences. Like, for example, a whodunit with a killer coming after them and slaughtering them off one by one, and then you realize who it is in the end. But I loved how in this one, it really elaborated on these characters. The Ginny character, Virginia, the main character, it really elaborates on her, how she has kind of a traumatic past, and how it actually comes full circle at the end to how it connects to what the whole movie is. The movie as a whole, it connects by the end, like full circle with her. And I really just thought that it really did a great job with character. Like, it was a really interesting character movie. And I don't think that's a point that people usually give this. If people love this movie, they usually think, oh, the kills are great. And the kills are great. They're really awesome. There's some really awesome kills. Just like The Picture, which this isn't the guy in the movie, but he looks like Axel from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This dude right here. But that is a gnarly kill in the movie. Getting the kebab into your throat. Like, that's a great kill. There are some awesome kills in this. But the story, I feel like, is just kind of underrated, and like nobody talks about it. Like, it's, and I'll talk about it now. Like, I feel like the Ginny character really gets a great story to her. Like, this character who has this traumatic past with her mother, and you realize it at the end, really, basically the whole gist of the story, in which this character, Ginny, had a kind of psychotic mother. Kind of. And, like, this mother, the way that she, like, in the flashback, she's gonna have this birthday party, and all of the kids are invited, these rich kids, and then none of them show up. So the mother gets pissed and just freaks out, and she becomes more and more psychotic as these flashbacks go, and towards the end of the movie. And with the scene on the bridge with the mom and her falling into the water is really good, and I love how that connected to the beginning of the movie, where the beginning of the movie the kids have that game where you try to run over the bridge before the bridge disconnects and goes up. So, like, it goes up like that, so the car's gonna ride over it. And I liked how that connected into the actual, like, plot at the end. I thought that was really cool, and I thought that it did a good job of subtly not saying that that would be part of the, like, the actual plot. It was just, usually moments like that in horror movies, especially like 80s movies, they're usually just there to be fun. Like a fun scene of kids doing things, like kids having fun. But I loved how that elaborated into the ending. Like, that's a really cool, weird connection that just surprised me. Rewatching it, I was like, okay, that's a really cool connection. And I love how, like, I love that story between her and her mother, and how she just basically she goes through this experimentation, and like her brain is being worked on, and I really like the fact that it builds on. You don't know who the killer is until the end, like it's a whodunit, but I like how it makes it really seem like Ginny is, even though she isn't. I really thought that was cool because with her being experimented on, it's like she probably would have done this stuff, like because of her brain damage. Like you could understand that this character could do that and go out and kill our friends. But of course, it wasn't her, and we get the second twist, which is really awesome. Like I think it's really cool that we get the revelation, and then we get another twist where Anne is the killer, and you realize that she's her half sister, and Anne's mom or Ginny's mom slept around with a lot of guys, and that was the guy that the Anne's father. So I love the fact that Anne did all this because of jealousy, and it really was cool. Just with the actress's performance with Ginny and with the Anne character, like their performance at the end is great. Whenever you realize the whole story, the whole twist that Anne did it all, that's really great, and it really works on that level. Like I really liked that twist. That's a really cool twist ending, and I liked how Ginny, who hasn't killed anybody, literally does the final blow to Anne, kills her, and then is it the doctor or the dad? Now I can't remember. I just saw it. I don't know why I forgot. But anyways, one of them walks in, and then he's just like, "What have you done?" So it looks like Ginny is the killer the whole time. That's really cool. That's, again, a cool way to end it, because it's like she was innocent, and then she killed the one killer, and then she's marked as the killer. That's really cool. That's a surprising ending. It just, rewatching it again, I'm like, that really works well. Like I said, the elaboration on this story with Ginny, and having her and her mother issues, and like how she's been experimented on, like it does a good job of not really giving a clue and a hint to who the killer is. I mean, it does give hints, but it doesn't give at all to what the real killer is. They're all false herrings. But in a horror movie like this, a whodunit, like, it's great on that fact, because you don't know who did it until the end, and rewatching it, it's like, you would have never guessed it was Anne. And she explains in the movie, too, like how she did it, like wearing a mask that looked like her. That was really cool. And I thought that this does a great job of foreshadowing. For example, like, throughout the movie, like I said with Ginny, like it foreshadows her like she could be the killer. But it also does a great job with all these other characters. For example, like at the first kill, whenever the person gets strangled, forgot her name, but the first girl character who gets strangled and then she gets out and gets her throat slit, she gets strangled with this scarf. And then the Alfred character pops in with Ginny and all her friends at the pub. So it makes it look like he could be the killer. And also I realized on this viewing that everybody's wearing the same colored scarves just because it's probably the school color for their scarves. And I thought that that was a cool way of saying, like, any of these people could be the killer. Like, it does a good job of being a whodunit. It does a really great job, honestly. And rewatching it, I just think it's really, really great. And like the guy, it's a knee, like however you say his name, the guy who creeps out Ginny at first, and then Rudy starts creeping out Ginny too, and all these characters have moments where it's just like, oh, this could be the person, like this could be the killer. But the way they do it, they play it in a way where it could be any one of them, but they don't. It works where they don't have to elaborate on it because they're not the killer at the end, and it really works in just foreshadowing. And also for the Alfred character, whenever you find that decapitated head model, that was a cool moment, because it's like, I mean, of course they wouldn't have completely given away the identity of the killer like 30 minutes in. I think it was like 30 minutes in, whenever you find, or 30 or 45, whenever you find Alfred has the severed head, but then it's just like a model, and he takes out the eye, and it's like he made it himself. So that was a cool, like, moment where you're like, oh, it's the killer. Nope. And it just, again, it does a great job of elaborating on this person can be the killer, this person can be the killer, but it really does a great ruse with all of these characters. Like, they all feel like they could be suspects, and it just really is well written, and just how these characters react to other characters, how they are there in the moment whenever something bad happens. Whenever Rudy pulls a knife to Jenny, all this stuff makes it look like any one of them could be the killer, and it just, like I said, does a great job of that. And so, like I said, I wanted to talk about the story, and I wanted to talk about the foreshadowing. Now I want to talk about the kills, which are awesome. The first one's pretty like a normal kill in a slasher movie, with the throat slit after she gets strangled. But then there's some great ones, like where this second one is this guy is fixing up his motorcycle and it's on, which he has it on while he's trying to fix it, which I don't get that. But I mean, of course he had to have the motorcycle on to die, but the killer comes up. Just literally, the guy doesn't even know the killer's there. The killer just grabs the end of his scarf, tosses it into the motorcycle wheel, and then it cuts his face up. And it's a really cool kill. But it's kind of silly in that way, where it's like, why did you have it on while you were fixing it, and why didn't you notice a person moving right behind you? They were very quiet, but still, I feel like you would have felt like someone's watching you. But that's what makes it fun, too, because it is a fun slasher movie. And it just really, that's a cool kill. And then the guy who gets the weights smashed on him because the killer moves the bench where the weight would land back on. And the guy's like, stop it, I can't hold it anymore. And the killer puts more weights on it. And then she drops the weight on his nuts. And then he just drops his weight down, and then you see splatter. That's a cool kill. Really cool. And then, of course, the famous impaled in the skewer. That one is the next kill, which is really great. And like I said, this is not the same person in the movie, like, that's impaled. Like, that's one thing that I think is weird about this cover. And this is the poster for the movie. Like, this actual picture is the poster whenever it was released. So, I don't know, I guess they just did that, but then they didn't use the same actor. But, I mean, it's fine. This is still one of the coolest 80s, or I mean, one of the coolest horror posters ever. Like, that is one of the most cool and brutal looking posters ever. And it's not even actually having anything happening, but that just is effective. But then it just, the skewer kill, and then, of course, the end with the fireplace poker. And this movie has not a giant body count. It's like got 6 kills. Is it 6? Because there's 5 kids. No, wait, 5 kids that die, and then there's one, and then there's the doctor, or is the dad, one of the two. But that makes 6, right? Because it showed 6 in the newspaper whenever they brought it up towards the end. So I think that 6 people died. Which, that's cool. This has a pretty low body count. Like, I'm fine with that, because it did have a good story that benefited along with the kills, with the suspense, and with the foreshadowing, which is really, really great and underrated in this movie, just like the story. The kills, of course, are what everybody talks about, because it's a slasher, and it's fun because of that, but I really wanted to talk about everything else. Like I said, the story is great, and the foreshadowing is great. But, man, just overall, rewatching this, it just surprised me, and I really think that I mean, I know people love it. I know people love this movie, and I'm glad people do. But I just love that I got to rewatch it again, and since it was my birthday tomorrow, it's an excuse. So, man, I really enjoyed Happy Birthday to Me again. I'm surprised this didn't get any sequels or remakes. Like, this literally has no, I don't think it has any remakes at all. Like, I know it doesn't have any sequels, but this is one of those rare ones that, well, I guess I don't know if it did, I don't know if it popped in terms of, like, say, like, My Bloody Valentine, where, like, it popped to where it got a remake. But I don't know, like, I'm surprised this hasn't gotten a remake, honestly. maybe if we get another like slasher craze come out, which we're really in dire need of now, like horror movies really are not slashers anymore. Hopefully Halloween 2018 will do that, because I'm so excited for that movie. But I hope that we get more slashers, and if we do, I mean, I'm not opposed to remakes. Like, I love the My Bloody Valentine remake. I thought that was awesome. So it's remakes. I'm usually, of course, like any movie, just I like it or I don't like it, or I'm in between. So I'd like to see a remake to this. That would be awesome. And I feel like it should have gotten one already, but surprisingly not. That's really weird. But also, like, I mean, it's just like, say, Sleepaway Camp, where I don't know, maybe they just didn't. I know Sleepaway Camp, it's harder to do because of that twist now, but like, Happy Birthday to Me, I feel like you could do easy. But like, there are some horror movies like Sleepaway Camp that haven't gotten remakes either, so I don't know. But yeah, overall, this one, just rewatching, is awesome, and I really thought it was a way more fun movie than the first time, which the first time I didn't dislike it at all. I thought it was totally fine, but this, it just popped way more the second time. Just really fun, really great story, really great kills, and really great foreshadowing. So I'm glad I watched this for my birthday tomorrow, so thanks for watching.